Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome. I started a few minutes later today. We're going to start at the top of the hour. I said start a few minutes later today. I'll explain it later. مو مشكلة. بعدين أقول لكم. Salams, where you're from, tuning in. Salams, where you're from, tuning in, where you're tuning in from, stuff like that. Those kind of things. Zarina. Alaikum assalam. Himu Boss. Is your last name Boss? Because that's really cool. From Dubai. Fartoon in Nairobi. Wa alaikum assalam. M.A. Khair. Wa alaikum assalam in Bangladesh. Sharifar. Wa alaikum assalam. Himu Boss. Wa alaikum assalam. Zarina's in Calgary. Wa alaikum assalam. Bilal in Grimsby, UK. That's a pretty cool name. Sounds like serial killer. Grimsby. The Grimsby murders. Mahshur in Seattle. Wa alaikum assalam. Anila in Windsor. Wa alaikum assalam. Samira in Houston. Wa alaikum assalam. From Leicester, Sigalo. Himu Boss says that yes, their last name is Boss. Assalamu alaikum, South Florida. I missed your name there. Juju in Switzerland. Wa alaikum assalam. Hayes Real from Somalia. Are you in Somalia though? That's the real question. Sundus Yahya in Germany. Wa alaikum assalam. Faik in London. Himu Boss says, I say salam to you, brother. I say wa alaikum assalam to you back. Let me see this. I had to scroll down for that. Bilal Ahmed said there's a movie called The Brothers of Grimsby. Maybe it's somewhere in my back of my mind. Nashia says, can you please give a shout out to Sakina, Hadia, and Saleh in Pennsylvania? Wa alaikum assalam. The Nashia team. Naheen, wa alaikum assalam. Yamama in Cleveland. Asma. Hayes says yes. He really is in Somalia at the moment. ATM. Welcome, Hayes. Iffa in Luton. Wa alaikum assalam. Mervit in Toronto. Masood in New York City. Man, may Allah protect you, Masood. New York City. New York. Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Doing good. We're going to start at the top of the hour, inshallah ta'ala. Thank you, M.A. Khair. Asma says, I've been so sick today, subhanallah, Asma. Hopefully, inshallah ta'ala, it's not related to these things. Inshallah, hopefully it's just some biryani that you made that didn't sit well. He says, yes, I'm in Somalia. Why? I don't know, because everybody's in these boring places like London and Toronto and New York. It's cool when people tune in from cool places. Arzina is in Mauritius. Wa alaikum assalam. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Bilal. He says, I have to say I'm not a keen follower, but I have followed your advice on dua. I make a list and don't make dua away. Good. Alhamdulillah. Hayes Real says Mogadishu to be specific. And Bilal says Grimsby is really cool. The name is cool. I don't know if Grimsby itself is cool, but the name is cool for sure. Nazi Ahmed says, Assalamu alaikum from Rayyan Mi'raj in Isra. Masood says, where are you now, Sheikh? For security reasons, I do not disclose my current locations. Thank you very much. Maryam in Switzerland, in Zurich, Switzerland says is a cool place. I concur. M.A. Khair says, love you for the sake of Allah. أحبك الذي أحببتني له. We will start in 4 minutes, inshallah. Ambar in Pakistan. Wa alaikum assalam. Wasafa. Rubina says, I asked you this question last time. I need your advice on when we make dua after Fard prayer. Is it better to make dua before taslim or after? If you make dua before salam, can we end our dua with salawat? Whenever I make dua before salam, salawat comes at the end by default. Yeah, you can make dua before you say salam. And you can do it before, afterwards as well. So it's not necessarily an issue of which one's better. It's just an issue of, you know what, for you, maybe after salah, if you know you're done your prayer and you want to take your time making dua, it might be easier, or during salah. I don't think it's really that big a deal. Do both. How about that? Yumna Rashid in boring Ottawa. Alaikum assalam. Masood says, I watch lots of your lectures on Peace TV. Do they still broadcast on Peace TV, or is it done? Hatis Mazi from Toronto, finally, alhamdulillah, I was stranded in Istanbul and made it home. Alhamdulillah. How long were you stranded in Istanbul, Hatis Mazi? I heard about other people getting stranded there. Wasafa, alaikum assalam. We will get started in 2 minutes. Run from the bear. M.A. Khair says, in the future I have a plan to do a program with you, inshallah ta'ala. M.A. Khair, what's the program going to be about? Give me a heads up. Samira Beg in Abu Dhabi, wa alaikum assalam. Bablu, wa alaikum assalam. Nawal in Belgium. Alaikum assalam. Belgium. Land of the Smurfs, I believe, if I'm not correct. Hati says, in quarantine in Istanbul or stuck there for 12 days. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make things easy. And then had to drive home. Asma, alaikum assalam. Today's session, I'm going to end with a joke. So stay tuned for that. About bears. Yamama says, my husband Nader says, Salam alaikum assalam. Nader, how are you doing? Alaikum assalam. Wasifa, where are you now? Seema says, it's Maghrib time in UK, then go pray. Go pray. All right, folks, we have hit the top of the hour. Let us begin. Take one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ma wala amma ba'd. I think I was going to say assalamu alaikum again, but I think I said assalamu alaikum already, so... Good morning, Vietnam. Welcome to the Max Daily Check-In. Today, inshallah ta'ala, we're talking about forests and bears. Forests and bears. So, imagine that you are, this is really beautiful about the human body. You're in the forest, you see a bear, you're going to get freaked out, yes? You're going to get freaked out. And then you're going to run. So this is what the body does. The body basically shuts down everything in your body that's not essential to surviving at this moment. Your body shuts down everything that's not essential. And so your body basically gives you adrenaline, gives you power to your legs, gives you power to your speed. Maybe you're not even breathing properly because your body's like, we need to get out of here. And just to give you, if you've never been in a situation like that, if you don't live in Canada and meet bears all the time, I give you an example of how the body just takes over when you're in danger is when you touch like a hot pan, or maybe you're ironing something. We've all had that moment we have touched an iron, and before you can process that, oh, that's really hot, I should move my hand, your body overrides your brain and pulls your hand away. And after your hand has been pulled away, then you stop and you think, whoa, that was hot, right? So here we are with the bear. Everything has been shut down, and it's survival. Yeah? So let me tell you this. In our lives, we're not walking around looking at bears. And yet, in our brains, in our minds, we're always thinking about worst case scenarios. We're always, yes, Wasafa says, that's the sympathetic nervous system kicking in. It sounds cooler when I say everything's shutting down and it's getting you focused to survive, yeah? So there's no bears running around. However, we have bears going on in our head. Big monster bears, big Pillsbury Doughboy type of, that Marshmallow Man, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the Ghostbusters. We all got those kind of bears running around in our minds. And even though they're not there, the body still reacts in a similar way. It gets stressed out. So in the example of the bear in the forest, what if after, this bear comes like, right? And adrenaline starts kicking in and all of this stuff, and you start running, and then your friend takes off the bear mask and then says, no, I'm just joking. It wasn't really a bear. Would you still have felt it? And the answer is yes. It doesn't matter, because whatever you think is real, that's how your body's going to react. So I used to have this, I'm kind of like, my skill is solutions provider. I'm always looking for worst case scenarios and trying to deal with it. Alhamdulillah, in my years with Al-Maghrib Institute and different things I do, my mind's always looking for what's wrong and how can we fix it from now. The problem with that is when you go into overdrive of what's wrong, what could happen wrong in the future, your body is always in this survival mode. Your body's always running away from the bear, even though there's no bear there. This might be useful in some cases. I need to do a little preparation, this and that. But if your mind's always focused in the future and always focused on what can go wrong and how can I prepare from it now, you're always going to be in this state of tense, and your body's not relaxing, your body's not calming down, and that's not healthy for you. I used to, this is a little deep, but I used to, this topic went really far for me, went really intense, and I found myself unable to be happy, unable to embrace happiness, because my mind was always searching for what's going to happen wrong tomorrow and how can I prepare for it from today. And I felt that if I let my guard down and I started, just embracing the moment, then I'm making myself vulnerable to the pain that's going to come tomorrow. And so every day I'd be having so much fun, and maybe you've been in situations like that. You're having so much fun, and then all of a sudden a fear of tomorrow starts popping in your head. How can I prepare from now? You already start crossing that bridge or preparing to fight that Stay Puft Marshmallow monster, even though it never came. And so I wanted to mention some verses to you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. Say, nothing will befall us except that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for us. Nothing's going to happen to us except that which Allah has befallen us. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was once teaching this concept to a young companion, and he said, no, ما أصابك لم يكن ليخطئك وما أخطأك لم يكن ليصيبك. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught him, young boy, that whatever strikes you, like if there's 100 arrows thrown out into the air and something strikes you, or let's say a billion bacterias, right there, if something strikes you, there is no way that it was going to miss. And if something misses you, there was no way that it was going to hit. So when people say, oh, that was a close call, in fact, in the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it was, no matter how close it was never going to strike you. And if something strikes you, it doesn't matter if you did this and you did that and you did this and that. It was never going to miss you. قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. And with that, a person just, there are things that we're in control of, supposedly like, hey, what am I going to eat for lunch or something like that. And there's other things. It's like you're flying on an airplane and you know what? You're not in charge of where this is going. So just sit back, find yourself a nice movie on the plane and just relax and enjoy the ride. Because this is outside of your control. قُلْ لَن يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. So what should you do instead? What you should do instead is start focusing on the moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you now. The moment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you now. There was, I'm reminded of a brother who his mother had lost his brother. So this is a friend of mine, and his mother had lost his brother. Yeah? Meaning like his brother died. So what happened after that is that she became so sad, so depressed, and she found no joy in the remaining brothers and sisters that were her children, that he felt like it was as if he had died as well. And so this is, and now that's like thinking about the past, but thinking about the future as well, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us blessings, given us safety, given us quarantines, given us all this protection, and yet we're thinking about what does the future hold and feeling fearful for that and feeling sad and scared. It brings all these not so great emotions. And so the idea is to come back to reality, to come back to now and focus on, hey, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I say this to myself a lot. Whenever I start thinking about something, hey, this could happen in the future, I say to myself, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. Because if you try crossing a bridge before you get there, you're just walking into the clouds like that Wile E. Coyote. Right? You're just going to fall down. So you don't want to be just walking into open air. You want to focus on crossing the bridge when you get there. For those of you tuning in, I'm going to tell you guys a joke at the end of this, inshallah ta'ala. So stay tuned. When I was in the early days when I was building on Maghrib Institute, working on it and doing, setting up classes and so on, there were people that were against me, unfortunately, right? Muslims, you gotta love them, right? Some Muslims. So I would build something and then here's somebody trying to tear it down. A great example of this is like, hey, we put up a poster in the masjid and somebody who has a problem with me will come and rip the poster down. Put the poster up, person comes when nobody's looking and pull the poster down. Great job, buddy, you're doing a great job. So, and then you get multiple people like that. So I was once sitting with some shuyukh and I complained about this situation. And I said to them, and I was actually quoting a lecture that I heard. And this is the thing that I learned from the lecture. And this is actually a reminder for all of you. Just because you heard something from a sheikh, don't take it so seriously. Sometimes it creates an analogy in our mind and we think that that's the only map of the world. And it's not true. So this is what the lecture that I heard. And I was reiterating it to some other shuyukh. In this lecture, the sheikh said, how can you build a wall when on the other side of the wall are like 21 different people? For every brick you put up on the wall, there's 21 people on the other side of the wall waiting for you to put that brick up and to pull it down. This is what I heard from a lecture, a cassette tape at that time. So I told this to the sheikh and he said to me such beautiful words. This sheikh said to me, and I remember how softly and sweetly he said my name. He said, Akhi Muhammad. He said, my brother Muhammad. And I was much younger than him. And he said, if Allah wants that wall to be built, then nobody can tear it down. And if Allah doesn't want that wall to be built, then it doesn't matter how much effort you put in, or if there's nobody else on the other side trying to take it down, that wall will not be built. And so place your trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do the work that you need to do. Focus on the now. Don't worry about tomorrow. Cross bridges when you get there. لن يصيبنا إلا ما كتب الله لنا هو مولانا. So, here is my recommendation, my advice for you on how to implement what I'm talking about. Number one is just that statement of, what happens if this XYZ happens? What happens if ABC happens? Tell yourself, I'll cross that bridge when I get there. For now, let me enjoy if I'm home alone, maybe with kids, family, let me enjoy building my relationship with them. Let me enjoy building myself up. There's a lot of free content all around the internet that people are giving out. Yeah, now's the time to stock up. All of these things. So focus on what's in your control today, building yourself, increasing in your ibadah, doing your istighfar, building your relationships with the people around you. And when these thoughts come in your mind, tell yourself, you know what, when that bridge comes, I'll cross it when it comes. Inshallah ta'ala. Now, I know the response to this is, shouldn't you prepare? What if, shouldn't you prepare? And I would look at, the preparation for crossing a bridge is like an 80-20. An 80-20, like the 80-20, like 20% of your time or even less than that, focus on, okay, if there was a worst case scenario, how do I prepare from now? So maybe I need to do X, Y, Z. Maybe I didn't do that. You do a little preparation for those things, and then khalas. And I did my preparation. I've got some stuff. It doesn't mean just I close my mind, but I've done those things. Those things I put to aside. Now I'll cross that bridge when I get there. And when I get there, inshallah ta'ala, I have some hiking boots. I got some extra water and some sanitizer. Inshallah ta'ala, everything will be okay. And then the next advice I would give you is that instead of always focusing on what's the worst that could happen, ask yourself, what is the best thing that can happen? What are the great things that could come out of this? What are the great things that could come out of this? And maybe how do you ride those waves? Great things that could come out of this is like, hey, I could come out of this with, some education that I was never able to find time for. I could come out of this with relationships with my family that, I'm always traveling, I'm always out, I'm always at work. I could be building relationships with my family or even online. What's the best thing that can come out of this? And focus on that rather than what's the worst. Allah ta'ala alam. And that's it. That's our reminder for today. The daily community huddle. I'll tell you the joke now. Inshallah ta'ala. All right, here's the joke. We began today by speaking about the bear in the forest. So this is how the joke goes. So there's these two guys, they were hiking in the forest. And then they came across a bear. And the bear was like, roar. And the bear is about to charge. And the bear is like starting to begin his charge. And then one of the guys says to one of the guys immediately goes to the ground and pulls out his sneakers, his runners. Pulls out his sneakers, starts changing his shoes. And then his friend said to him, "What are you doing? You're not going to be able to outrun the bear." And then his friend said back to him in response as he finished tying up his last lace, "I don't need to outrun the bear. I just need to outrun you." And that's it. Jazakallah khairan. Hayakumullah. We started at 10 before the hour, so like 2:50 p.m. New York time. Inshallah ta'ala, we're going to start at that time. Give it about 10 minutes, and then at the top of the hour, we will begin. Jazakallah khair for everybody that tuned in. Please share, have fun. We are going to be doing, if you haven't heard about the Time to Thrive Summit, it is a summit that we put together actually before all of this went down. And alhamdulillah, all the topics have been turned and focused to helping you during this time that you're living in. So during how do you focus on community, your mental health, what are the emotional toolkits, and we got an amazing lineup. Sister Dalia Mujahid, we've got Sheikh Yahya Ibrahim, myself. That's going to be, I don't know the exact date, I think it's April 4th or something like that. Check it out. The website is discoveru, the letter U, discoveru.online. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And jazakumullah khairan to everybody that tunes in every day.